أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان لا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجن من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. صدق الله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: وعليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جدناه يا رسول الله، اتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء. وقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب هودي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أمه. وقلت: وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. وقال لي: يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جدناه يا من اختار الله، تأذن لي أن أدخل معكما تحت الكساء. فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ فقال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحبي لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ وقال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بدعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتمل جميعا تحت الكساء، أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومع بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحمتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يعلمني ما يعلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا هرب لمن هربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنيا ولا أرضا مدهيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي اتأذن لي أن أحبت إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبت الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتهية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنيا ولا أرضا مدهيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وكذا أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لي أبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال علي ولأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت منهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. وقال عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. وقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجتي إلا وقضى الله حاجته. وقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسودنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسودوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
تعجيل ظهور إمام الزمان بلندتر صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
تعجيل ظهور إمام الزمان بلندتر صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
रिश्ता गम सरवर से लगा रखा है रिश्ता गम सरवर से लगा रखा है जुज़ जितने पाक के क्या रखा है हम मर गए होते गमे सरवर की कसम ہم مر گئے ہوتے غم سرور کی قسم، اس مرثیہ خوانی نے جلا رکھا ہے، رشتہ غم سر. نعرہ صلوات. شاعر اہل بیت ساحر لکھنوی کا ایک رسائے کلام آپ کی سماعتوں کی نظر ہے. ان کی بلندی درجات کے لیے بلند تر صلوات.
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد.
جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی تذکرے وفا کے چل، جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی تذکرے وفا کے چلے، قلم کو ہم بھی مثال علم اٹھا کے چلے، جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی تذکرے وفا کے چراغ اشک عذاب بجھ نہیں سکے گا کبھی، ہزار لے کے کوئی سامنے ہوا کے چلے، جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی تذکرے وفا کے، وفا کی منزل اول ہوئے ابو طالب، انہی کی آل میں سب سلسلے وفا کے چلے، جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی تذکرے وفا کے چلے، کوئی شان علمدار کر بلا دیکھے، وہ آج تک نہ جھکا جو علم اٹھا کے چلے، جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی تذکرے وفا جو دیکھ ضربت عباس مثل ضرب علی تو جبرائیل بھی شہ پر بچا کے چلے جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی تذکر وفا کے زمین انیس کی ساہے نہ نب سکے نہ سہے خدا کے سامنے کب زور نہ خدا کے چلے جہاں کہیں بھی کبھی نعرہ صلوات فاتحہ نذر شہدائے کربلا جب ہوئے بازوے عباس قلم دریا پر گر کے ٹھنڈا ہوا حضرت کا علم دریا پر غرق خون ہو گیا وہ بحر کرم دریا پر غل تھا زخمی ہوا سقائے حرم دریا پر مشک کو دانتوں میں پکڑے ہوئے یوں لاتا ہے داہنے شیر میں جس طرح شکاراتا ہے جب ہوئے بازوے عباس قلم دریا پر غش کی آمد ہے جگر سوز آتش سے کعبہ ہیں جو بے دست ٹہرتی نہیں پاؤں میں رکھا پیاس بچوں کے لیے سینے میں دل ہے بیتاب غم یہی ہے کہ کہیں مشق سے ضائع نہ ہو، تیر پہ ہم جو کمانوں سے چلے آتے ہیں، یا علی کہتے ہیں اور مشق پہ جھک جاتے ہیں، کر کے موسوے نجف کہتے تھے بادی دیتے، یا علی لیجئے مجھ بے کس و مضطر کی خبر، اے شہ عقدہ کشا بادشاہ جن و بشر، چاہتا ہوں میں کہ اس مشق کو پہنچے نظر، آپ کے بیٹے کا شیدا ہوں مدد لازم ہے، آپ کے پوتی کا سکا ہوں مدد لازم ہے، اسپ سے کہتے تھے عباس یہ بات چشمے پورا، یا سے لے چل مجھے اے اسپ وفادار، شتا پیاسے ہوئیں گے جو سیراب تو ہوئے گا ثواب، کہیں ایسا نہ ہو ساری میری محنت ہو، ہائے کیا جانیے کیا بچوں کی حالت ہوگی، مر گئے پیاس سکے نہ تو قیامت ہوگی، جب ہوئے بازوئے نعرہ صلوات۔
Assalamu alaikum, Ya Ali Madad. Just a couple of housekeeping announcements. As you all know, the Dua Center runs on you, and without it, we wouldn't be here today. I encourage you all to please donate generously. If you'd like to sponsor a Majlis, you're feel free to get in contact with Amir Uncle or Jabir Auntie. If you would like to recite in the English Majlis, you can get in contact with me, Abid Uncle, or any auntie. I would like to ask you all to please rise as I invite Dr. Sheeba Rizvi to the member. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali
ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله على ما أنعم وله الشكر على ما ألهم والثناء بما قدم من عموم النعم ابتداها وسبوغ يلاء أسداها وتمام منن أولاها جمع عن الأحصاء عددها وناع عن الجزاء مدها وتفاوت عن الإدراك أبدها والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خير المبشرين والمنذرين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dearest mu'mineen, mu'minat, lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, Azadaran of Imam Hussain, Muntazireen of Imam al-Asr, it is my honor once again to have this opportunity to talk to you. And we are discussing Hubbi Ahlul Bayt is Deen and Deen is Hubbi Ahlul Bayt. Yesterday we said that the Noor of Allah has been given a mathal, and the mathal of Allah, وَلِلَّهِ Mathalul A'la, the Quran says. For Allah is the Mathalul A'la. Mathal is something in which you are told a metaphor or a story, and it allows you to understand something that might seem incomprehensible. And we said that Surah An-Nur, verse number 35 says, Mathalu Nurihi ka mishkatin. And we talked about how the 14 ma'asumeen, as-salatu was-salamu alayhim ajma'een, are the mathal of Allah, and it is through them that we come to know Him. Which means that He is incomprehensible and He is unthinkable and unreachable, but the more you know about them, the more you will come to realize about Him. Today we are commemorating the martyrdom of the one who embodied the love and loyalty for the Ahlul Bayt, the one whom we should aspire to reach the dirt beneath his feet, the one who is the son of Ali, the son of Ummul Baneen, the one who is the lover of Hussein, the one who did nothing in his life but that which pleased Hussein. And in defense of Imam Hussein, he has spoken. In defense of Imam Hussein, he has fought as well. There is a khutbah that is mentioned in the book called Hadith Karbala as well. This book was written and it was collected narrations by none other than Pakistan's Allama Talib Johari alayhi rahmah. And in this book he mentions this hadith, which was this khutbah of Abbas ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, which was given in Makkah. And this occasion was when the caravan of Imam Hussain had intended for Hajj, but then when the assassins sent by Yazid, Lanatullah alayh, were to try to martyr Imam Hussain in the Haram, in the Masjidul Haram, right in front of the Kaaba. That is when Imam Hussain said, I do not want to have blood shed over here, and my blood is not destined to be shed here. We will go to Karbala. And then they converted their Hajj into Umrah and then left. But before leaving, there is an occasion where Imam Hussain is involved in the tawaf of the Kaaba. And as he is doing tawaf of the Kaaba, the assassins come to approach him. They start coming closer and closer to Imam Hussain. There were two groups of assassins that were sent. One group was sent to assassinate Imam Hussain alayhi salam. The second group was sent to assassinate the assassins after they assassinated Imam Hussain. This is a trick and strategy that has been used throughout history to try to hide who was the original killer. So what happens is, for example, in history, in modern times, you will see situations where a sniper tries to assassinate someone sitting on a rooftop with his sniper gun from far away, and after he fulfills his mission, then someone else assassinates the assassinator, and now everyone is quiet and no one knows who the true murderer is. At this time, Hazrat Abbas is seeing that these ones who are wearing the ihram have come closer to Imam Hussein, but they have swords hidden with them and small knives. And the idea was they would get close to Imam Hussein and then they would try to martyr him. Imam Hussein is doing tawaf. Mawla Abbas knows that Imam Hussein has said there will be no bloodshed here, so he is not to use his sword. But he does use his tongue in this khutbah. Some historians have said that this khutbah that Hazrat Abbas gave from the roof of the Kaaba, which means that he went to stand upon the roof of the Kaaba and from there he spoke. Standing upon the roof of the Kaaba is something that we have seen before in history when Amirul Mu'mineen was sent by the holiest messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Can we have a salawat please? Allahumma salli ala. And when Amirul Mu'mineen went with Surah Tawbah, Surah Bara'at and the verses, at that time the holiest messenger is in Medina and the kuffar and mushrikeen are in Mecca. Amirul Mu'mineen goes alone, without any army, without any support, surrounded by enemies on all sides. People are there whose family members Amirul Mu'mineen has already sent to hell and killed in the battles of Badr and Uhud. The revenge against Ali is there in their hearts, but no one has the courage to face him. He walks in alone into the Masjid al-Haram. He walks towards the Kaaba. He stands upon the Kaaba and then he recites the verses of Bara'at. It is said that the son of Ali does the same when he wants to protect Imam Hussein. He goes to the highest height in Masjid al-Haram, which is upon the Kaaba, and there he addresses the would-be assassins of Imam Hussein. And he starts his khutbah by saying, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi alladhi sharafa hadha al-bayt biqadumi abih. Man kana bil amsi baytan asbaha qiblata. Ayyuha al-kufratu al-fajara. Atusadduna tariq al-bayt al-imam al-barara. من هو أحق به من سائر البرية ومن هو أدنى به ولولا حكم الله الجليلة واختباره البرية وأسراره العلية لطار البيت إليه قبل أن يمشي لديه قد استسلم الناس الحجر والحجر يستلم على يديه ولو لم مشية مولاي مجبولة من مشية الرحمن لوقعت عليكم كالصخر الغضبان أتخوفون قوما يلعبون بالموت في تفلية فكيف كان في رجلية ولفديت بالحامة لسيد البريات دون الحيوانات فانظروا ثم انظروا ممن شارب الخمر وممن صاحب الحوض والكوثر ممن في بيته الغواني والسكران وممن في بيته الوهي والقرآن وممن في بيته اللهوات والدنسات وممن في بيته التطهير والآيات وأنتم وقعتم في الغلطة الذي وقعت القريش لأنهم أرادوا قتل نبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وأنتم تريدون قتل ابن بنت نبيكم فكيف يمكن لهم ما دام أمير المؤمنين وكيف يمكن لكم ما دمت حيا سليلا لا بلغ الله ما داركم وبدد أعماركم وأولادكم ولعن الله عليكم وعلى أجدادكم. He says these words. After Mawla Ghazi says these words, the assassins leave their tawaf, they flee the site. Mawla Ghazi comes down and then they leave Makkah at that time. If you look at the translation, a man is hidden beneath his words. You will rarely see Ghazi talking. You will rarely hear narrations in which he has given words and speeches. Always he is quiet, always he is obedient. But when a man speaks, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, then he is revealed. His iman is revealed, his aqidah is revealed, his conviction is shown, his loyalty shines, his faith, his love. In the words of Mawla Ghazi, when he says, Alhamdulillahi alladhi sharafa hadha al-bayt biqadumi abi. All hamd is for Allah who has blessed this Kaaba, this home, this house, this Baytullah, biqadumi abihi. He points to Imam Hussein and says, with the footsteps of Hussein's father, with the footsteps of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Hazrat Abbas is talking about that time when the mother of Ali went into the Kaaba, and Amir al-Mu'mineen was born in the Kaaba, and he was in his mother's arms. It is said that at that time, Amir al-Mu'mineen, his mother recounts that as soon as my son was born, he went into sajda on the floor of the Kaaba. And when he went into sajda, he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Akhi Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. I bear witness there is no Allah, and He is one, and none is partner with Him. And I bear witness that my brother Muhammad is His Rasul. Wa ashhadu inni aliyun amirul mu'mineen wa waliyullah. And I bear witness that I am Ali, and I am Amirul Mu'mineen, and I am Wali of Allah. This is the time when the feet of Ali blessed that home that Abbas is saying, Man kana bil amsi baytan asbaha qiblata. What was for centuries the bat of Allah became the qibla, became the qibla. This is talking about the time when the Qibla became the Kaaba. At the time of Adam, when the Kaaba was built, the Kaaba was the Qibla. Up to the time of Hazrat Ibrahim, so in the time of Nuh, in the time of Lut, in the time of Hud, in the time of Sam, in all of these prophets, up to Ibrahim, Kaaba was the Qibla. And anyone who was a believer prayed towards the direction of the Kaaba. But after Hazrat Ibrahim, he has two sons, and we see prophethood goes into two lineages. One is his son Ishaq, one is his son Ismail. And Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam goes to live in what we call Palestine now. And Hazrat Ismail goes to live at what we call Makkah and at the Kaaba. That is where his mother Hajra takes him, and that is where he lives. And his son stays there, and his son stays there, and his son. All the way up to the holiest messenger's grandfather is there, Hazrat Hashim. And then his son Shaybatul Hamd. And then his sons Abu Talib and Abdullah, and then his sons Mustafa and Murtaza, and this continues. So there is one lineage living at Makkah, and one lineage of Yaqub and Dawood and Sulaiman, going on to Musa and Harun up to Isa. They are all living at that place, Yahya and Zakaria, in the Baitul Muqaddas. The home there was called Baitul Muqaddas. The home in Kaaba was called Baitullah. No one lived in the Kaaba, but the prophets would frequent and live in the Baitul Muqaddas. Baitul Muqaddas became the Qibla. So at the time of whether it was Yaqub or Dawood or Sulaiman or Yusuf, all the way up to Hazrat Isa, Baitul Muqaddas remained the Qibla for centuries. Even anyone who was praying anywhere in the world prayed towards Baitul Muqaddas. When the holiest messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam announces his prophethood at the age of 40 in Makkah, and he says that I am a Nabi sent by Allah. And he says, Qulu la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. And you should pray now. And they start to pray. It is said that at the beginning there would only be 3 people praying. There would be the holiest messenger, Ummul Mu'mineen Khadijatul Kubra, Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. 3 of these would be praying, and the mushrikeen of Makkah, the polytheists, would try to prevent their prayer. They would throw things upon them. They would try to attack them. At that time, the one who was guarding them would be Hazrat Abu Talib, and they prayed. But in Makkah, if you go at some point later on and look at a map, you will see that when you pray in Makkah, it is possible for you to have the Kaaba in front of you and yet still be praying in the direction of Baitul Muqaddas. And this is where they prayed. They did not pray on every side of the Kaaba. They prayed on the side in which they would be in line with the Baitul Muqaddas, and this was the way they continued to pray. But what happens is, here is Makkah and there is Baitul Muqaddas. Now when they go to Medina, what happens is, when they are praying towards Baitul Muqaddas, now Kaaba is not in their direction. They have to make a choice now. In Makkah, you could pray in the direction of Kaaba and in the straight line of Baitul Muqaddas. When you are in Medina now, you have your side to the Kaaba. So what ends up happening is you are praying towards Baitul Muqaddas, not towards the Kaaba anymore. First Hijri happens, 13 years in Makkah, and then they come to Medina. The first year passes after migration, they are still praying towards Baitul Muqaddas. All of the history books say that the Qibla was changed to the Kaaba in the second year of Al-Hijrah, in the second year of Hijri, which means 14 years they prayed towards Baitul Muqaddas, and then the Qibla was changed. The Qibla was changed at a time and in a place that even now is present. In Medina, there is a historical masjid that for some reason they have still preserved, although they have chosen not to preserve most of the historical relics, and instead they have uprooted them, and they have established in their place 5-star hotels and franchises, and historical elements are disappearing. But you will find there is one masjid in Medina that is called Masjidul Qiblatan. So when you go to Medina and if you visit that Masjidul Qiblatan, you will see Qiblatan means two Qiblas. This was the masjid where two Qiblas were prayed towards. This was the masjid where the Qibla was changed during prayer. And when you walk into that masjid, you will see two arrows, one pointing towards the current Qibla, one pointing towards the old Qibla. And you will see there is a difference in the degrees of about a little more than 90 degrees. And when the prayer happened in which the Qibla was changed, it is said that there was no warning given. In fact, what happened was the holiest messenger was at that site which is called Masjidul Qiblatan, and he was leading Salatul Dhuhr. And while he was leading Salatul Dhuhr, of course, it was tradition amongst them that when the holiest messenger would stand to lead the prayer, he is the Imamul Salat. The Ma'mun would always be Amirul Mu'mineen standing right behind him, the Ma'mun of the Salat. But today was a very different day, and what they saw was that now the holiest messenger is leading the salat, but Imam Ali is not seen to be behind the holiest messenger. Instead, other people came and lined up behind the holiest messenger. So the situation was that the holiest messenger is leading the salat. If we're looking, well, this was the direction they turned to, but he was leading the salat, and then they were saf behind him. And as they were saf behind him, what happened was that at the end of the last line, Amirul Mu'mineen was behind that, but he was standing alone. And as he was leading the salat, the holiest messenger, the salat begins. When the salat begins, he says Allahu Akbar, and then recites the zikr, goes into ruku, goes into sajda, and then goes into qiyam again. When he stands for the second rakat, he recites the second rakat. The companions are following behind him. As he is rising for the third rakat, there is a verse that talks about this. It is in Surah Baqarah, verse number 144. The verse says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Translation is قَدْ نَرَى. Indeed we saw. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ. We saw you turn وَجْهِكَ, your face, فِي السَّمَاءِ, towards the skies. So it is mentioning the holy messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was looking towards the sky. There was a dua in his heart that he had for Allah, and he was asking for something. And Allah is saying, we have seen you looking towards the skies and turning your face up towards the skies and the heavens in dua. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ. Therefore, we will change qiblatan. We will change the qibla tardaha. When you read Surah Baqarah verse 144, you will see these words, that we will change the qibla towards what you desire. That means it is the worship of Allah, but Allah wants the desire of the holy messenger. You are bowing to Allah, but Allah is saying the holy messenger's desire is where you will bow, which means that sajda and qibla will be towards where the holy messenger says, قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً tardaha. Tardaha means riza. Riza is that which is pleasure. So like you say, ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya razan bikaza'i wa tasliman li amrih. All of these words have riza, and here also tardaha has riza. Allah is saying, O holiest messenger, my beloved, we want your riza. That means that Rasul was not razi. He did not want to pray towards Baitul Muqaddas. He wanted the Qibla to be established at the Kaaba again. And so therefore he says, Qiblatan tardaha. It is said that as he stood for the third rak'ah, then the verse continues and says, فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. Therefore turn your face towards Masjidul Haram. And it is said at that time the holiest messenger now turns his face towards Masjidul Haram. But now the people are looking at the holiest messenger. They are still in line for prayer. They don't know what is happening. It is the third rak'ah, and this has never happened, that in the middle of the prayer, the holiest messenger just turns around. He's supposed to complete the prayer. The verse continues and says, وَحَيْثُ مَا كُنْتُمْ. And wherever the rest of you are standing, فَوَلُّوا وُجُوهُكُمْ شَطْرَهُ. All of you also turn your faces. As Jibreel alayhi salam says these words, everyone starts to turn the way the Prophet had turned in the same direction. And as all of the companions turn, now they see that the third rak'ah is being led by none other than Amirul Mu'mineen, and he continues the third rak'ah, and he continues the fourth rak'ah. So there is one salat in which the first two rak'ah were led by the holiest messenger, and third and fourth rak'ah were led by Amirul Mu'mineen. And this is an example to show you, one thing it shows you is that the Qibla that the Prophet wanted was the Kaaba. I don't know why he wanted the Kaaba. Was it because Adam built it, Ibrahim alayhi salam built it, or Amirul Mu'mineen came into it? But he desired that the Kaaba become the Qibla. And when you see that Amirul Mu'mineen can lead the prayer after the Prophet, it shows you who is the wasi. It shows you who is the khalifatahu bila fasal. Khalifatahu bila fasal means that khalifa without any gap. And this is demonstrated in this incident because there is no gap between the second and third rak'ah. You cannot stop. You cannot go and leave your prayer. The second and third rak'ah is continuous. In the same way, the holiest messenger and the khilafat of Ali is continuous. It is bila fasal. So it says, فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. And then it goes on to say that وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ, the ones who are reading the book, لَيَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ. You should know that Ali is the haqq from your Rabb. And then verse 142 of the same surah says, سَيَقُولُ السُّفَهَاءَ مَا وَلَّاهُمْ عَنْ قِبْلَتِهُمُ الَّتِي كَانُوا عَلَيْهَا. Say the fools ask you, O messenger, that why have you changed the Qibla? It is said that many were asking, why has the Qibla been changed? Many amongst the Muslims and many amongst the Bani Israel were taunting the Muslims. What happened? Why have you changed your Qibla? The verse 142 continues and says, قُلْ, say, O my messenger, to the ones who are asking, why has the Qibla been changed? وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ. Allah is Mashriq, Allah is Maghrib. يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. He can lead whoever He wants. إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. He can lead whoever He wants to Siratim Mustaqim. There should be no doubt in your hearts. What is Siratil Mustaqim? Siratil Mustaqim is Ali. Naba'il Azim is Ali. Imamul Mubin is Ali. Allah is saying that I will lead whomever I want towards Ali. It is not up to them, it is up to me. And then He goes on to say, this is kabiratun. This is kabiratun, except for the ones whom Allah helps. That means it is not easy to follow Ali unless Allah is helping you. You cannot love him unless Allah has permitted you. And this is what Hazrat Abbas is saying from the roof of the Kaaba. If we come back to his khutbah, and he says, Man kana bil amsi baytan asbaha kiblata. What was a home, a house, a Batullah for centuries becomes a Qibla. He is saying it becomes a Qibla by the arrival of the father of Hussein, who is none other than Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ummah. He goes on to say, and I will spend just these last remaining 5 minutes translating his khutbah. And he says, Ayyuhal kufratul fajara. O you who are kafir and fajir. That means Abbas is saying the one who comes with the intent to harm Hussein is a kafir and a fajir. Ayyuhal kufratul fajara. Atusadduna tariq al-bayt al-imam al-barara. Are you trying to stop the path of Imam Hussein as he is doing tawaf? Man huwa ahaqqu bihi min sa'ir al-bariyah. Who is closer to the Kaaba than Mawla Hussein? Wa man huwa adna bih. Who is more deserving to come to the Kaaba than Hussein? Walawla, and if there was not hikmullah al-jalila, the beautiful hikmat of Allah, wa ikhtibarahul bariyah, and the testing of the creation of Allah, wa israrahul aliyah, and the elevated secrets of Allah, latarul baytu ilay. This Kaaba would have flown to Hussein qabla an yamshi laday, before Hussein had taken one step out of his home in Medina. Mawla Ghazi is saying that as Hussein left his home in Medina to come to the Kaaba would have flown to Hussein and come to Hussein if it had not been for the tests of creation. And then, can I have a salawat, please? Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. I hope it's making sense. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying his words. I hope you are not yawning while you're hearing his words. Can I have another salawat, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Latar al-baytu ilayhi qabla an yamshi laday. The Kaaba would have flown to my Hussein, Abbas says, before Hussein even left his home. Qad astaslaman nas al-hajara. All of the nas, the insan who are doing tawaf of the Kaaba, are trying to kiss the Hajar Aswad. Wal Hajaru yastalimu ala yaday. And Hajar Aswad wants to kiss the hand of Imam Hussein. Hajar Aswad is an angel that came down at the time of Adam. And when Adam built the Kaaba, Hajar Aswad turned into a rock that was put into the Kaaba. It was white in the beginning, but as the hands of people continued to touch it, it darkened in color up till today. Now it is called the black stone, and it is bearing witness to all who are coming to Makkah. And this angel will announce its testimonies on the Day of Judgment. And Imam Mawla Ghazi is saying that Imam Hussein is there, and this angel wants to come and kiss the hand of Imam Hussein as you are trying to kiss Hajar Aswad. And then he goes on to say, وَلَوْ لَمْ مَشِيَّةُ مَوْلَاي مَجْبُولَةً مِّن مَشِيَّةِ الرَّحْمَنِ. And if it was not that the Mashiyyat of Allah was filled in the chest of my Mawla Imam Hussein, لَوَقَعْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ كَالصَّقْرِ الْغَضْبَانِ عَلَى أَصَافِيرِ الطَّيْرَانِ. I would have attacked you like the hawk flies down from the sky and swoops upon the little birds and tears them to pieces. But my Imam has not permitted me to attack you today. And then he says, وَلَفِدْ أَتُخَوِّفُونَ قَوْمًا يَلْعَبُونَ فِي الْتُفَلِيَّةِ فَكَيْفَ كَانَ فِي رُجُلِيَّةِ. Are you trying to scare and intimidate those who have fought with death in their childhood? Then what do you think Abbas is now in his manhood? وَلَفَدَيْتُ بِالْحَامَّةِ سَيِّدِ الْبَرِيَّاتِ. And I have dedicated my life to the defense of Hussein, who is the Imam of all in creation, دُونِ الْحَيْوَانَاتِ. And he is the Imam of all of the animals and the insects and the birds as well. Maula Ghazi is saying Hussein is the Imam of humans and animals, but you who are trying to attack him must be worse than animals if you do not consider him to be your Imam. And then he says, Fandhuru, thummanzuru, look. And look again. Mimman sharibul khamr. Who is the one who is the drinker of alcohol? Wa mimman sahibil hawdi wal kawthar. And who is Hussein, the sahib of hawdi kawthar? Mimman fi baytihil Sukran, Ghawani was Sukran. Who is Yazid, who as in his house dances and parties and wine? وَمِمَّنْ فِي بَيْتِهِ الْوَحِي وَالْقُرْآنِ. And who is Hussein, whose house is the house of Wahi and Quran? مِمَّنْ فِي بَيْتِهِ الْلَهْوَاتِ وَالدَّنَسَاتِ. Who is Yazid, who is the one who plays with animals and monkeys, who as in his house nothing but sins and najasat? And who is Hussein? مِمَّنْ فِي بَيْتِهِ الْتَطْهِيرِ وَالْآيَاتِ. His house is the house of purity. His house is the house of verses of the Quran. His house is the house of the signs of Allah. And you, وَأَنْتُمْ وَقْعَتُمْ فِي الْغَلْطَةِ الَّذِي وَقْعَتِ الْقُرَيْشِ. And you are making the same mistake that the Quraysh made. لِأَنَّهُمْ أَرَادُوا قَتْلَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ. That you have the same intention as the Quraysh had when they wanted to martyr the holiest messenger of Allah. وَمَا يُمْكِنْ لَهُمْ مَا دَامَ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And it was not possible for them when there was Amirul Mu'mineen hayyan, when Ali was alive. فَكَيْفَ يُمْكِنْ لَكُمْ وَمَا دَمْتُ حَيًّا صَلِيلًا. If you could not do it when Ali was alive, how will you do it now when the sword of Hussein is alive and stands before you? And then he goes on to say, may Allah not fulfill مَا لَا بَلْغَ اللَّهُ مَا دَارَكُمْ. May Allah not fulfill any of your evil plans. وَبَدَّدْ أَعْمَارَكُمْ وَأَوْلَادَكُمْ. And may He destroy you, your companions and your offsprings. وَلَعْنَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. May Allah's la'nat be upon you. وَعَلَىٰ أَجْدَادِكُمْ. And upon your forefathers. And then Mawla Ghazi descends from the Kaaba. The Qafla continues. They reach Karbala. And that day comes, which is the day of Ashura. On that day, it has been 3 days since the young children of Hussein, the young children of Bani Hashim, have been saying Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Al-Atash means thirst, thirst. Is there any water? And it is said that there's many little children, up to 65 have been mentioned in history books, that were thirsty, that had empty flasks, that were carrying their empty flasks from tent to tent, looking for even a drop of water to quench the thirst, to moisten those parched lips, the tongues that had stuck to the roofs of their mouths. And it is said that Mawla Ghazi, it was the hardest for him to hear Al-Atash, because when this caravan left Medina, Mawla Ghazi, Mawla Abbas is the one who was organizing everything, making sure there was enough food and water. And when Imam Hussein asked him as they left Medina, Abbas is all ready. And he said, everything has been prepared. And he said, I have enough water to last us to there and beyond. But what happened was, when 4,000 soldiers and Hazrat Hur came, and they also camped with Imam Hussein gave them water as well, and gave their horses water as well. And as that water was given, the water dwindled in the caravan. And that is why that time came when all the children were thirsty. It is said that Shahzadi Sakina said to the children that I will ask my Chacha Abbas, may chance he can bring water for us. It is said that Mawla Ghazi went into his tent. At that time, his wife said to him that, "Oh Ghazi, Sakina came, your niece came and she was looking for you." Mawla Abbas went to look for Shahzadi Sakina. When he found her, she was there with an empty flask. She looked at her chacha and she said, "Oh Chacha, Ali Asghar has not drank any water in 3 days. Ali Asghar is now drying up like a flower dries up in the hot weather. Oh Chacha, if even a drop of water can be gotten to Ali Asghar, his life may be saved. That 6-month-old suckling child. It is said that Mawla Ghazi looked at Sakina and she had a mushk in her hand. She had a flask in her hand. Ghazi took the mushk of Sakina and he put it on his shoulder. This is the time, Azadar, when Mawla Ghazi, alam in one hand, mashk sakina on his shoulder. And since that day, for 14 centuries, wherever you go and you see the alam of Ghazi, you will see next to it this mashk of sakina. That mashk of sakina that he sacrificed his life for. He took his dear niece in his arms and he walked towards Imam Hussein. But they were not alone. Ghazi was going and he had sakina in his arms, but behind them there was a line of children, and all these children were saying Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Mawla Hussein saw Hazrat Abbas walk towards him, and Mawla Hussein looked at Hazrat Abbas and said, "Oh Abbas, what is it? Have you come to ask me for your death now? Oh Abbas, how can I grant you permission to fight? You are my alamdar. You are the flag bearer of my army. I cannot send you to fight." And he looked, Abbas looked to the right and looked to the left and said, "Oh master, what army is left that I am the alamdar for?" He says, "Oh master, from the morning, Mawla Hussein, I have seen the old companions of our prophet go to their death. I have seen the young ones go to their death. My brothers and sons go to their death. I have seen the little children who I taught to fight go to their death." He says, "Mawla Hussein, I know the time is near, that Asr is near, and now you will soon go to your death." He says, "Oh Mawla Hussein, Abbas does not want to remain alive after you. Allow me to go. I cannot live and breathe even a second after you. What is life after you, O Hussein? Will you not grant this servant of yours permission?" Mawla Ghazi was looked at by Mawla Hussein, and Mawla Hussein said, "Oh Abbas, I will grant you permission, but you must go and ask your sister first. Do you not know she awaits to see you and she is in her tent?" Mawla Ghazi went. He stood outside the tent of the daughter of Ali, Zainab bint Ali, and he wanted to ask permission. He said, "O daughter of Ali, O princess, a fakir has come to your door, and this fakir has come to ask you for something." It is said that Zainab was inside and she stood up and she said, "Who has come to my door? Abbas? Abbas, do you not know? What do you ask Zainab for, O Abbas? Abbas, you should know Zainab has given everything she had and she has nothing left to give but you. You are my treasure, Abbas. What have you come to ask me for?" Abbas said, "O daughter of Amirul Mu'mineen, please grant me permission that I may go to get water for the children." She said, "Abbas, you know if I grant you permission, you will not come back." She said, "O Fizza, call the Saidaniya, call the Masturat of Bani Hashim." It is said that all of the women gathered in that tent where Zainab was standing and crying, and she looked at the women and said, "O women of Bani Hashim, O Saidaniya, when you left with me from Medina, I promised you that I will keep safe your hijab, but you should know that now Abbas is going and that promise has been lifted. That promise to you was only until Abbas was living, but now we send him to his death. Say al-vida, al-vida hijaba, wa hijaba, wa hijaba." It is said that Abbas leaves the tent of Zainab bint Ali and he goes upon his horse. As he gets upon his horse, Sakina now is in the arms of her father Hussein. They look at Abbas and he goes goes towards the water. Sakina is watching the alam and she says, Father, where is the alam? I don't see it. But Hussein says, worry not, my dear princess, for your chacha has reached the water. That is why you don't see the alam. But it is said then the alam started coming towards them, and Sakina looked upon the alam and she said to the children, look, my chacha is coming, the water is coming, O children. But the time came when the alam was gone from the eyes and Sakina could not see it, and she said, dear father, where is the alam of my chacha? But this was the time that one of Abbas's arms had been severed by the enemy, and he was trying to hold the alam and protect the mushk which was being attacked from all sides. And O lovers of Abbas, the time came when again the alam was gone from Sakina's eyes, and she tried to see it but could not, and said, my dear father, where is the alam of my chacha? This was the time when the second arm of Abbas had been severed, and now without arms he continued to protect the mushk. But now what happened was an arrow pierced the mushk and water started to flow. Abbas looked at his horse and said, for what do we go to the camps now? For what do we return to Sakina and Asghar? For the water has flown from the mushk and there is no water. Oh, Ashal, take me back to the bank of the Euphrates that I may die there. And Sakina saw the alam going back towards the river. Sakina looked at her father and said, Father, I don't want water. I want the alam. I want my chacha. Please bring my chacha back. Hussein went. Sakina waited. But when Hussein came back, chacha was not with her. Abbas was not with him. No, Hussein brought back an alam, and he brought back an empty mushk that was pierced by arrows, and the alam had the blood of Abbas and the mushk had the blood of Abbas. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ لَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ.
इमरान कहाँ और जिंदान कहाँ, ले बहन कैद हुई तू ना या गाजी, जबरदा सर से चुनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना या गाजी। आ गए शाम अलम लुट गए ले हरम, रेत पर जलती हुई हो गया ठंडा आलम। परसा देने के लिए मुझसे मिलने के लिए आ गए बाबा अली तू ना या गाजी, जबरदा सर से चुनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना या गाजी। धूप में तू था शजर, तुझसे आबाद था घर, है बरना मेरा सर, क्या नहीं तुझको खबर। ए अलमदार वफा, इस बहन को बाहुदा, तुझसे दारस थी बड़ी तू ना या गाजी, जबरदा सर से छीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना या کہو شیر میرے بیرد ہم کو لیے یہ مسلمان سارے شہر در شہر گئے خلقت کوفہ کبھی خلقت شام کبھی بارہ ہم پہ ہنسی تو نہ یا غازی جبر دا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی کتنی بے بس تھی بہن اے شہنشاہ وفا نام لے لے کے میرا جب یہ ظالم نے کہا ناز تھا جس پہ تجھے اب بلاؤ نہ اسے اور میں روتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی جبر دا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی ہم کو پانی نہ ملے تیری خوشبو تو رہے تیرے بازو نہ کٹے چاہے مشکی زاچ دے یہ مگر ہو نہ سکا تیرے بازو ہے جدا مجھ پہ ہے تشنا لبی تو نہ یا غازی جبر دا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی کیا سکینہ سے کہوں اے میرے دل کے سکون ہے یہ پانی کے لیے بے گیا سب تیرا خون اب کوئی آس نہیں تو میرے پاس نہیں رشی شانوں میں بندھی تو نہ یا غازی جبر دا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی جب چلی شے پہ چوری اے میرے شیر جری ہاتھ ملتی تھی بہن کچھ قدم دور کھڑی کٹ گیا شے گلا ہے بہین صدا مجھ کو ہر زر پہ دی تو نہ یا غازی جب سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی قید خانے میں قضا جب سکینہ کو ملی دیکھ کرتے کا کفن بچی دفنائی گئی اس غدی نام تیرا صورت ناد علی بس میں دہراتی رہی تو نہ یا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی رویا ریحان قلم کر کے یہ بات رقم خون میں ڈوب گیا میرے غازی کا علم زخمی زینب کا جگر خون فشان شاہ کا سر آئے پیموں میں شکی تو نہ یا غازی جب ردا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ یا غازی یا حسین
عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے جب شام و سحر فاطمہ زہرا تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے درا لیے پہرے پہ ستمگار کھڑا ہے درا لیے پہرے پہ ستمگار کھڑا ہے کیسے تیرے لاشے پہ سکینہ تجھے روئے کیسے تیرے لاشے پہ سکینہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے جس وقت اٹھایا نہ گیا لاشا جواں کا جس وقت اٹھایا نہ گیا لاشا جواں کا شہ اس گھڑی اکبر سے زیادہ تجھے روئے شہ اس گھڑی اکبر سے زیادہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زینب نے کہا شام غریباں میں اے غازی زینب نے کہا شام غریباں میں اے غازی بے پردہ مجھے دیکھ کے بابا تجھے روئے بے پردہ مجھے دیکھ کے بابا تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے عباس سجدے کے لیے جب لیا ہاتھوں کا سہارا، سجدے کے لیے جب لیا ہاتھوں کا سہارا، تو سجاد مصلی پہ ہمیشہ تجھے روئے، سجاد مصلی پہ ہمیشہ تجھے روئے، عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے، عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے، جب شام و سحر فاطمہ زہرا تجھے روئے، عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، اللہم صلی علی محمد۔ متوجہ زارن، السلام علیکہ یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیکہ ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیکہ ابن امیر المؤمنین وابن سید الوسیین، السلام علیکہ ابن فاطمۃ الزہرا سیدۃ النساء العالمین، السلام علیکہ یا مولایا وعلی انصارک مستشہدین معک جمیعا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیکہ یا غریب الغرباء، السلام علیکہ معین الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام علیکہ یا مغیث الشیاط والزوار فی یوم الجزاع، السلام علیکہ یا انیس النفوس، السلام علیکہ المدفون بعرض الدوس ابو الحسن علی ابن موسیٰ رضا وراز بالقدر والقضاء، السلام علیکہ یا صاحب العصر والزمان، علمان 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 من فتنة الزمان، السلام علیکہ خلیفۃ الرحمن، السلام علیکہ ما من سوى الجان، السلام علیکہ یا شریک القرآن، السلام علیکہ یا ضعف الظلم والعدوان، السلام علیکہ یا قام الکفر والطغیان، اجل اللہ فرجک وسهل اللہ مخرجک ودہورک، والسلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔